We will continue to create some additional parts to this engine, and in this video we will create a glass piston and also a displacer. So I will select this piston and right click to select hide unselected, because we need this one. Then we will use a spin wizard to create a glass piston, and we will select that face, and we will also select standalone because we need a new part. Then next, and it will spin 360 degrees, but we will use along the selected surface because it will spin around this surface. Then I click finish, and I will choose continue without change, and I have to choose display all so that I will see the piston, because I need it to get a reference line. Then I will move the origin to the center of the piston, so I will turn on the tribal, right click the center handle to center point of that edge, turn off the tribal, and we will draw the profile. To do that, we will begin with to project this face to the grid. So I will use my floating menu. I press S on the keyboard, and from this menu I will select project, select that face, and then I will press escape to exit the project command. I will grab that endpoint and drag that to the origin, and then I will continue to draw the profile. So I use my menu, I select polyline, I click the endpoint, and we will drag that line perpendicular to the x-axis. You see the green dotted line there. When you see that, you know that you're dragging this line perpendicular to the x-axis. I will right click and will type 43, and then I will come over here and drag perpendicular to the y-axis, like so, and click, and then I will press escape. I will create a fillet here, so I will use my menu and click fillet, click that node, drag until it stops, and you see in the property browser, perhaps I can type radius 14. So when the value is highlighted, I type 14 and hit enter. Then I click finish, like so. And then I will create a shell of this piston. So to do that, I will hide this piston, that one. So I select it, right click, and I will hide selected. To create a shell, I will use shell part, and we come over here to the property browser, open faces. Well, that face will be open, and the thickness of the shell will be 2 millimeters. I type 2 and press tab, and then I will click OK, and we got our shell. I will select this piston so that we are in part level. Then we come over to the property browser. We change the username to glass piston. Hit enter and copy that name and paste it here in description, and the part number of a glass piston will be 116. Then we come down here to the paint settings, and we'll change here the transparency to 50. We select that value, now it's 0, we type 50 and hit enter. So when we click here in the background, we will see the change here in the scene. Like so, and then we can right click the background and to show all, we have everything in place. But we will also change name on this piston. I will click the piston rod here in the scene. We see here now we have that part, because that we will change the username. Username will be displacer piston. We hit enter to copy that name, and we paste it here. and the displacer piston will have part number 110, and it will have the same color, so we will not change the color. So next step will be to create a displacer. To do that we need the crankcase, so we'll select the crankcase and right click and we choose hide unselected, and the displacer will fit flush to this surface. So we will need that surface to get a first line or as a reference plane. So we will use a spin wizard to create the displacer. I will select that face, and you will choose standalone, next 360, but we will select that button along the selected surface, and then we click finish, continue without change, and we move the origin to the center. So we turn on the tribal, right click, center handle, center point of this edge, like so, and then we turn off the tribal, and we will project that face to the grid. So we use our floating menu and we select project, click that face and press escape to exit the project command. Then we grab that endpoint, drag that to the origin. Then we continue to draw the profile. I will orbit the camera so that we see the endpoint and this side of the hole. So we use our floating menu, we select polyline, and we click the endpoint to start the line. And this distance here is 5 mm. And I will right click when I drag perpendicular to the x-axis, right click to type 4.8 millimeters, because that it will be a gap between this flange and the cover of 0.2 millimeters. Then I will drag perpendicular to the y-axis. You see the green dotted line, and I will right click. Here I will type 2 and hit enter, like so. Then we will continue to drag perpendicular in this direction, and I will right click and I will type 43 and hit enter. And I will also drag perpendicular or draw perpendicular to the y-axis and click the y-axis here, and then I will press escape to exit the polyline command. Well, we need to create a fillet here, so I will use my menu to select fillet, click the node, drag until it stops, and I think 16 will be a good value. So when the value here radius is selected here in the property browser, I type 16 and hit enter. Then I press escape to exit the fillet command. Well, we will also create a shell of this profile, and we will not use shell part command. We will use the offset command, and we will use our menu to select the offset command. Click that button. Here we find offset, and I will select that line. As you see, our preview will be placed outside of the profile. If we come over to the property browser, we see distance here first. Well, it will be 2 millimeters, but we will uncheck offset constraint because we don't need any constraints in this case. And we also flip direction because I want the preview on the inside. And then I will continue to select edge lines. I will select that one, and also that one at the end as a short line. Now it's selected. And then I'll click OK. We got our lines, and then we will extend this line to this line here. So I will use my menu to select extend that line, and I also will trim this line. So I use my menu again to select trim, and I will trim that line now we have a profile. Then I will click finish, and we got our displacer. I will deselect and then select the displacer again, and we come over to the property browser, select, change the name, username to displacer, like so. We'll copy that name, paste it here, and the part number will be 117. And we'll also make this transparent 50%. Hit enter, and we'll click in the background here, we will see the change. Then we will add some blends on some edges, so we will select the displacer so that it is selected in part level, then right click, and we hide unselected so we see only the displacer, because we will add some blends on the edges here. And we'll use blend edges, and the radius will be 1 millimeter. And we'll hit enter after the type 1, hit enter, and we'll select that edge and that one, and also this edge. Then I click OK, and we got our blends. Then we can right click in the background to show all. We have all parts visible, like so. Come over to the scene browser, and now we have also named everything that we have created. Later on we will also change names on the crankshafts. Like so, I go back to my starting view, and I will also click fit scene, and I will save the scene.